what he meant by calling it revisionist Russia?
Revisionist Russia?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, the secretary?
Yeah, Secretary Hagel.
I think what he's referring to there is that that there appears to be in their intentions and their motives a calling back to the glory days of the Soviet Union.
He also used that phrase, that its army, meaning Russia's army, on NATO's doorstep. Why is that? Is it not logical to look at this and say the reason that the Russian army is on NATO, the Russian army is at NATO's doorstep is because NATO has expanded rather than the Russians expanding? That, in other words, NATO has moved closer to Russia rather than Russia moving closer to NATO. Is that not an accurate way to look at this?
I think that's the way President Putin probably looks at it. It's certainly not the way that we look at it.
You don't think that NATO has expanded eastward toward Russia?
NATO has expanded,
Okay.
and the expansion has been a good thing for...
So the reason that the Russian army is at NATO's doorstep is not the fault of the Russian army, it's not the Russian army that's done it. It's NATO has moved closer to, moved east.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't NATO who was ordering, upwards of 15 battalion tactical groups to within 10 kilometers of the border with Ukraine. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't NATO who put little green men inside Ukraine to destabilize eastern states.
I'm pretty sure that Ukraine is not a member of NATO. So unless that's changed,
it's not
okay.
changed. But I'm pretty sure the movement by Russia is Russia's decision.
If NATO has moved east, the reason that the Russian army is closer or on NATO's doorstep is because NATO moved. Not
NATO is not an anti-Russia alliance. NATO is a security alliance.
Unfortunately, for 50 years, it was an anti-Soviet alliance. So do you not understand it? So do you not understand how, or can you not even see how the Russians would perceive it as a threat? And the fact that it keeps getting closer to their border, while their troops, I mean, the places where their troops are, you say their troops are, and may have been in Ukraine and Georgia, are not NATO members.
I'm not going to pretend to know what goes in President Putin's mind or Russian military commanders. I mean, I barely got a history degree at the University of South Florida. Right. What I can tell you is that NATO is a defensive alliance. It remains a defensive alliance.
Fair enough, but it has moved east, correct? I mean, that's just a fact.
It has expanded, absolutely.
Right, exactly.
But there's no reason for anybody to think the expansion is a hostile or threatening move. And we've been saying that throughout the last 15 years, man.
You're moving closer to Russia. You're blaming the Russians for being close to NATO.
No.
That's exactly what Hagel said.
We're blaming the Russians for violating the territorial integrity of Ukraine and destabilizing the security situation inside Europe.
Which is not a NATO member.
I see to
Other
you on
countries
that point.
feel threatened that are NATO members.
The world stage. Vladimir Putin firing back at Barack Obama. These two puppet presidents launching threats back and forth between these two world powers, and Barack Obama was the most recent that came out September 24th at the UN General Assembly and stated that Russia was one of three threats that face humanity, and put Russia alongside Ebola and ISIS. So they took major offense to this, and he's came back and stated that Russia's partners should remember the risk involved in disputes between nuclear powers, and that it's futile to attempt to blackmail Russia, and that you should remember the consequences when dealing with major nuclear powers and the consequences involved when there's discord between major nuclear powers. Therefore, it could bring forth a strategic something for stability. He's hinting there that they're going to do what it takes for stability in the region. He says together with the sanctions against entire sectors of their economy, that this is nothing less than hostile. And to me, it paints the picture here, really, with all the sanctions, everything coming down on Russia. He's right. We have busted Kiev trying to blackmail Russia. We've got the proof. They made that one video with the day before MH17 was ever shot down out of the sky. I still got it. It's gold. We've proved it. I think it would hold up in a court of law in proving that they knew this flight was going to go down the day before it ever happened. So therefore, they were involved. And yes, that whole video was trying to blame Russia, trying to say that they intercepted the chatter. I guarantee you some of you guys remember that. That was big time. And that was the type of blackmail that Vladimir Putin is speaking of. And I mean, we see what's going on here. But when it comes down to the nuclear saber rattling, I don't think you're ever going to see nuclear fallout, ever. It's just never going to happen on this planet, I don't believe. Powers are not going to let it happen. They've shut down missile silos and took missiles right out of the sky. We've witnessed it, left and right. I believe they're going to continue this military assault, and when he makes these statements, I see this as him hinting is Russia's about to make a move. They just brought all these tactical nukes down into Crimea. They just, for the first time, finally pulled all their troops away from the border with Ukraine. How is that? Why? They wait till they get their nukes down into Crimea, and then they pull all the troops back. Now, he's doing all this talking. And he mentions nukes several times. So I think it's just a warning, but at the same time, I don't think it has anything to do with nukes. Can't rule it out, though. They may drop a huge bomb somewhere. But I think it's implying soon Russia's going to make a move on Kiev, and they're going to take it. They're going to storm it. So this winter should show a lot, because a lot of people depend on the gas and power and energy that comes out of Russia. And certain people want to turn the other way. Russia can cut them off. And also at the same time, pipelines and other things like that that run through the Ukraine can always get attacked. And that's not good neither. I've always said, once Russia's pipelines and their interests start to get attacked and blown up, or they can't get to them to fix them, or they think they're being siphoned or whatever, they're going to go in. And they have pipes that run clear through Ukraine. And that's my point. They have assets under the ground there strategically. At some point, they're going to do it. The billboards don't show the Russian flag going all the way past Kiev in Russia for nothing. That's the move that I foresee coming before any kind of strike, like on the United States, that is. Anything happens here, it was your own government. And that's the truth. Anyway, that's the latest here from the Puppet World stage. I'll leave a link, keep you guys updated as I hear Obama's response.
Разверни штатив. Что зенитно-ракетный комплекс находится в крайне невыгодном положении. При стрельбе вдогон время нахождения ракеты в зоне поражения составляет
ориентирование заместителей начальника продовольственной службы предстоящих действий, довести до них фактические задачи.
Владычицы нашей Богородицы и Преснодеве Марии, Пресвятая Богородице, помогай нам. Мир всем,
Духове Твоему,
главы